Hello everybody, and welcome back once again to Super Metroid Exercise. And we are going to experience the wonderful land of Meridia. It's almost a wonderful place, that's amazing. So, Missile hanging out, as always. Having some items hanging out is always a good thing in hacks. Pay attention to these base pirates guys. There's always platforms where they are. And sometimes because they're very black and gray too, they're hard to see against the black and gray tiles they're often placed with. It's like, oh, hi, you're right there. And then hooray for going back to here. But no, the next room up there is actually a very interesting room, which we are going to be getting to very shortly here, when I finally make it up there. It's like, I can do this. But no, and there really is not a whole lot to the suitless aspect of Meridia, so you don't have to worry too much about that. Now this room is interesting, not just because this does the funky little foreground, is the background is foreground thing. Yes, and there's a missile hanging out up there. In between the little claw-like things. Those glass tile things are some of the better parts of Meridia, I think. And the fish move fast. So no, what is interesting about this room is, I mean, obviously the visual part's pretty interesting. I was looking for an item there. That's actually a hint, if you notice the map. So we go into this door and we are in the same room. That is the interesting part of this room. You go all the way to the end and it just warps you right back to the start. I don't think I've quite seen this done in another hack yet. So, this part could confuse some people. Be like, that doesn't make any sense, which it doesn't really, but really neat. But really, those hands are your hint. Because if you notice where they fall on the map, it's like, maybe there's something up here. And you can stand on that and jump up through the door up here. So that is why that room is really neat. It's a really neat little puzzle thing. It's not hard to figure out at all, but it's still really neat. I'm surprised I've not seen that used more often. And so we got this thing dropping stuff. This kind of arrow thing telling us you need to go up. And again, like pretty much every single other hack that has Meridia or whatever, Meridia is the place people make puzzles out of, in terms of how do I get around and whatnot. And in fact, yes, you just jump through the wall and then there's fake spikes up here. But for some reason, and the hint is basically, oh wait, this thing is falling here. It's like, oh, well this is interesting. Yeah, why is Meridia always the one that's chosen? You can do this out of any other area. You could start the player in Meridia and then do puzzle place with some other area. But almost always Meridia is made into the puzzle place, which I find that's just a little weird. Now, I did something stupid here. I did not save. You might want to go save, because it's like, oh, eye door. I want to see what's behind you. Did you get it? Because it's eye door. I want to see. That was welcome to my humor. Everybody's like, oh, I see what you did there. So anyway, that save might be good because Botwoon is right up in here in this. Now this room looks bad. And I wasted a couple soup, but this room looks. This room could have seen much better iterations. Pretty much anything other than this. Could have given it red criteria palette, and that would have pretty much made this the worst room ever. But thankfully, at least spared us that. But yeah, even in the best area, could not resist ruining it with some more of his very infamous tiling. Okay, so yeah, save might be good, but again, once you get Botwoon down to a certain part, he stops doing his little spitballs, and if you're standing right by the door, he can't do anything. That's basically that. So we got the map. There's not much else shown, which is not that big a deal. But yeah, what in the world was he on when he made that room? I have no idea. And that is actually all of the suitless Meridia, because for defeating Botwoon, there's Gravity Suit. Yay! We have a suit that lets us move freely in water. And then it proceeds to drop us down here into water. It's like, oh, in case you don't know what Gravity Suit's for. And that was a very fortunate find right there. It's like, oh, well. And it's another missile. We still only have 6 supers, which is not a lot if you're counting. But yeah, why? I don't know. I don't know, yeah. I'll get off that door eventually. So, Meridia is a bit confusing. I'm pretty sure Plasma's in here somewhere. Like I said before, I don't collect it. I don't even see it. I'm just pretty sure it's in here, in Meridia. Because there's some spots, like the room beneath on the sub-map there, the mini-map I mean, I don't get into. I spend a while at some point looking for a way into there. Yes, and there's a pirate hiding there. But I don't know if that's part of the Path of Plasma. Maybe I do get in that room, actually. This is sad. I recorded all this. I played it. Record the SMVs, record the AVIs off those, and I don't. Yeah. Just amazing. I need to upgrade my memory. And then I do this because, hey, this is how I got into that room before. Never mind, that was Gravity Suit that got me down there. And now that I've picked it up, it can't do that. It's like, oh, I can't go this way. That was a one-way only trip, and I took it. So now I have to do other stuff. And I'll be honest, Metroids in a room with an energy refill, not that scary. In fact, a lot of enemies in a room attacking you while you're right next to an energy refill is not that scary. Excuse me. So, the rest of Meridia is basically going and finding Draygon, because I really... There's another energy refill. I really don't know where Plasma is. Now, I was actually kind of expecting it after Draygon, but you probably can already guess what we get. Something to do with space and jumping. And that save room had Red Burn Star music. Again, with music errors. You don't normally think of music in terms of errors, but music errors do happen in hacks. And sometimes it's not paying quite enough attention to that part of their hack anyway. So, this little thing's like, this little room down here, this might be plasma, right? And you know, that's not such a bad thought. It's like, okay, well, I'm pretty sure I have to defeat Draygon to unlock it, but maybe not. Depends on what's in here, and it's locked, so it's like, defeat Draygon, unlock the door, collect plasma beam. So we'll leave the disappointment for later. Even though you already know it's not plasma. But that's what I'm kind of looking. That's what I'm thinking it is. Like, oh, okay, I can get plasma right there. I just have to find Draygon, then I have to come back. Okay, so actually I kind of want to know what you think about the tiling in Meridia. So I think it's the best, and there are some rooms in here that I think genuinely look good, but it still seems to use his, in quotation marks there, tiling, which is not, there's a Metroid there for some reason. But his tiling leaves quite a bit to be desired. I'm not sure what you would think of this tiling. It's very odd and weird. And again, these are bangs. For those who don't know, they are completely coded into the game. They're complete enemies, they just were never used, like the little mini crocomires. Although the little mini crocomires aren't actually completed, but you can still use them. They don't have any slope detection. The bangs, however, are completely usable without any issues such as slope detection due to their nature. And they're very deadly enemies, actually. Because you have to hit them so many times, and then they, at a certain point, they will fire back with the full amount of power you shot into them. There was, maybe it was Eris or something, but there was a hack where I literally lost 7 energy tanks off one shot back at me. That's a lot. So they are actually one of the most deadly enemies in the entire game. They're not used very much, quite possibly for that reason. Hey, 2 eyes. I don't know what we call people 4 eyes. But yes, that one on the right is very wrong. That was terrible. And yes, it does do that, but there's a power bomb back there, which unsurprisingly you actually have to go through where the eye was to get it. So you can collect that, and now Draygon. Draygon, like I said before, his room is not very conducive to you beating him. And you can't really do anything about the electric things on that side. The electric things, honestly, are not the big issue for me. I don't mind if I can't destroy them. I absolutely mind the floor. You can't avoid him. It's quite annoying. And then because of stuff, like, this is going to be more difficult. I can't really just run around on the floor here. So yeah, the floor is actually much more annoying than the electrical outlets. So, like, hey, I can do this. And guess what? Just like Z-Factor, this no longer hurts him. I realize that, and I just keep right next to him, like, I'm taking you down with me anyway. And so because of that, I'm just like, ugh. But I can move around. So, however, I discover it's like, oh, he's holding me while I'm spinning. That's most interesting. I'm just kind of laughing at this. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna go with this because this is hilarious. So, yeah, there's no way I should be able to move. Draygon, basically, when he grabs you, it's 60 button presses, unless they found a way to change that. But it's a certain amount of button presses until he releases you. But I was enjoying him holding me, holding in italics and quotes, while spinning in the air. That takes some skill right there. And so yeah, Draygon is not necessarily an easy boss. Quite the opposite, actually. I think he's the hardest boss in this hack. And you don't need to worry about preserving missiles or whatever on these guys, because you've got a missile refill up there. And this is actually where I'm going to stop the video. We will defeat Draygon in the next one, where we go in with a full complement of missiles, and try not to just enjoy being electrocuted. So we will see you for that in the next video.